What's up? Brian Tong here, and WWDC 23 is happening on June the 5th. So this video is all about the new iOS 17 features that we have heard about and expect to see announced at Apple's keynote. And if there's anything that's going to have the biggest impact on our daily life, it's iOS 17. It was initially reported to be a tune-up with some bug fixes, but now it sounds like a whole lot more. Now, the biggest place that we could expect to see changes will be in Control Center. That is where you swipe down from the top right-hand corner over here to get access to everything from your screen brightness to volume level or to your connectivity options. Even holding it down on this timer, you can set a quick timer really fast. You got your screen capture here and more. Reports say that there's a major revamp coming to Control Center, and it will be one of the more prominent changes in iOS 17. Now, it was first introduced in iOS 7. That was 10 years ago, and there aren't any specific details other than UI elements and customizations that will be coming, so we could be really surprised with what happens at the keynote. Now the dynamic island, yes, that has been the new feature for the pro-level iPhone 14s, and this year, all iPhone 15 models, all of them, are expected to include the dynamic island. Now, I would say that since its launch, the feature has really become more useful recently with third-party apps. You know, you finally see it taking advantage of it for rideshare apps and sports scores, but there was just so much energy around it, and it just hasn't transformed the iPhone as much as a lot of us were expecting it to. Plus, the fact that the Face ID camera and sensors, those are all in that middle, so it limits how much information you can show off. Reports claim iOS 17 will allow the dynamic island to do a lot more, and if they are rolling out this feature to all iPhone models now, it's important to make it more useful than what we've seen so far. Things like moving Siri to it and making it feel more alive, for me, that has got to be a top priority. Now, we've been asking for them for a long time, and Apple has been testing active widgets for the home screen and the Today view on the iPhone. And the idea is that we could tap on the widgets or do a long press. Maybe we'd get options for one-tap buttons, sliders, and just more to interact with them more than we currently do. And I think a theme that you're seeing here is really to get iOS 17 to make the iPhone feel more alive and an organic part of your digital life. We're also expecting to see some significant improvements to the system-wide search and spotlight functions with potentially better and more useful organized results, but we don't know anything about the specific details at the moment. Health obviously has become a bigger priority to Apple, really ever since the Apple Watch became this crucial part of their ecosystem. Well, Apple's planning to bring the Health app to the iPad and take advantage of that larger screen layout. Also, the new Health app is expected to bring a new mood tracking function, and it will let you help keep track of your mood, answer questions about your day, and see these results over time, with the ultimate goal being for an algorithm to help track and come up with solutions based on how you're feeling to improve your overall mood and mental health. Apple's also expected to potentially bring a new journaling app for users to record their daily activities and thoughts. This is separate from the mood tracking. This app will help you analyze your behavior and establish patterns to determine what a typical day is like, and then offer suggestions if you're someone who stays inside at home a lot, like me, while I'm doing work here, or if your day includes something that is different from your usual routine. Now, it will be a true journaling app that will integrate with other Apple apps like Messages and Calls, with all that data being kept on device and nowhere else. And this new app could be part of iOS 17 and announced in June, and it's clear that Apple is making health and specifically mental health a more important focus this year. All right, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, the Coolify 2S from Taurus. The Coolify 2S is a wearable neck fan, and if you're someone like me who goes to a lot of theme parks or events outside, this is one of the coolest pieces of tech, literally. Now, I've used those cheap neck fans in Asia before, but the Coolify 2S is something different. It has two plates around your neck that can cool down the temperature or even heat it up, and the reaction is almost instant. Now, I had to try it out for myself at Universal Studios on a hot day in the sun, and not only does it have the cooling zones that can lower your perceived temperature by 30 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it also has fans that create airflow on top at 3 different speeds that you feel against your neck to give you an almost 360-degree cooling effect around your neck. Surprisingly, this isn't extremely heavy, and sure, it does have a little weight to it, 410 grams to be exact, but it's comfortable with a flexible fit where it didn't feel like a burden at all. Now, there are 3 settings that can switch between just the fans, or an air condition mode that cools your neck with the fans as well, or a heater mode to keep you warm. I'm not wearing something like this every day, but on those hot theme park days, this is a lifesaver. Now you can manually switch between modes with the buttons on the Coolify 2S or control it via Bluetooth from an app. It lasts up to 28 hours on Eco mode or 4 hours on Max mode, and the entire package includes the Coolify 2S wearable air conditioner, a portable carrying bag, and a USB-C cable. It normally retails for $299, but if you go to the link in the description and use the code BrianCool, you'll get it for $199. That is $30 off. So check out the Coolify 2S and stay cool with Coolify. Okay, let's get back to iOS 17, and reports say that we could see some updates to the lock screen, including options to change the font sizes and even sharing a lock screen we've created with other iPhone users. And that sounds fun because I'm really good at making them. The iPad could also get the iPhone style lock screen feature from last year to create your own, and then these new customizations. Remember, iPadOS got the redesigned widgets from iOS 14 a year later in iPadOS 15, so we could see the same thing here because Apple can't just give us the same feature on both platforms at the same time, right? Okay, a new lock screen will also reportedly get a redesigned live activity interface for Apple Maps that takes over the entire screen. A rumor claims it will have detailed turn-by-turn directions that overlay the screen until you access something like your notifications. We also have the Apple Music app that will reportedly get a more simplified interface, and also lyrics could become directly viewable on the lock screen in iOS 17. App library folders will be able to be manually renamed. Currently, they're named by the iOS itself and are initially organized automatically. You also have the flashlight and control center that will have an adjustable slider instead of being limited to 3 specific brightness levels. So a smoother transition for the flashlight. Not a game changer, but yeah, sure. Now the Wallet app is expected to get an update, and leaks claim there will be a new navigation bar at the bottom of the app that will separate the different functions it can perform between cards, cash, keys, and IDs that you can select from. And it makes sense because the app just has a lot going on for you to manage currently in one vertical format. Two things that I wish they had were really an easier way to delete old things like tickets instead of going in and having to get rid of each one manually. And then while I'm at it, I'd like to ask for a separate section specifically for tickets, whether they're for travel or sporting and concert events. That would be nice as well. Just a suggestion. Because you know it can be a big pain in the butt to find your ticket amongst all those things going on in the Wallet app today. Now, still related to iOS 17, the new generation of CarPlay will likely be on full display this year. Now, last year, remember, they announced a new experience that will have deeper integration with car manufacturers and take advantage of all the screen real estate available in these modern cars with multiple screens. Now, this year, I'd like to see what that actually looks like, right? Not a concept, not a render, but the real deal with their support for specific car instruments associated with different cars, customizable widgets that you can have through CarPlay, and then multiple display support. Because their demo last year, it showed us more than anything maybe what an Apple car might look like, but how has CarPlay progressed in 2023 with real cars? That's what I want to see. Now, outside of the US, Apple is also expecting to bring support for side loading and alternate app stores in Europe, and iOS 17 might be the first time that we see it. European legislation is requiring that Apple allows side loading in 2024, and this change will likely start this year. Also, the European Union was the entity finally powerful enough to force Apple to switch over to USB-C for the iPhone as well, and this means that in the EU, developers won't need to pay Apple's 15 to 30% fees for apps that its customers get from a third-party app, but Apple still plans to collect some type of fee. Of course they do, but other countries could pass similar legislation, but sideloading and third-party app stores won't be available for the US anytime soon. Okay, two more things. Some of the iOS 16 betas had a new feature where you don't need to install this profile on your iPhone in order to use a developer or public beta. It was always an extra step in the process. So moving forward, as long as you have a developer account or one that is part of the Apple public beta, it will authenticate you, and then just an easy flip of a switch to get access to these developer betas and then put them on your phone. And then finally, Apple's been working together with Google for an industry specification that would allow both Android and iOS to detect unwanted tracking tags that are following you. So think about the AirTag-like tracking that we have now. It would also now include other tags like ones from Tile, Samsung, Chipolo and others. And to me, it's a great reason for the two companies, these tech giants, to actually work together. And the feature is expected to arrive by the end of this year in iOS 17. And of course, we also know that performance and stability will be a focus of iOS 17. I mean, that's important for any iOS. Apple also just announced a whole bunch of new features for accessibility that will be coming to the iPhone and iPad. And one of the most amazing and incredible ones, a new feature called Personal Voice that will create a synthesized voice that sounds like the person for talking to friends and families. And this would be for people that are at risk of losing their ability to speak or other conditions that could impact someone's speaking ability. You'll read some prompts out loud and it will record you and build your voice from that. Then using Apple's live speech feature, which allows you to type what you want to say, it could then use this newly created personal voice that it's made so that it sounds like you when you want to communicate to others. That is just wild, just insane. And let's not forget support for the rumored upcoming Apple mixed reality headset. Yeah, I hear that is probably going to be a big deal for Apple at WWDC. Like, have you heard anything about it? No? Oh, yeah? Okay, so we'll see how it all comes together. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast to get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace and love.